This is Hinchusatsu. We all immersed ourselves in many forms of geek culture that we lovingly treasure. People have Marvel, Star Wars, anime, Disney, slasher horror, Transformers, etc. The story, characters, powers and abilities, emotional turmoil, and all-around world building, which captivates the audiences through generations to come. As you know, I'm a fan of the Kaiju genre of films, particularly my childhood champion, Godzilla. Kaiju have struck an impression with me from the creative hand-built miniature works, outlandish and delightful monster designs, and powers, and continues to demonstrate thought-provoking themes. But then there's one element in these films that is one of my favorites that is solidified in us fans' minds as a fixture in the genre: Monster Island. Since the very beginning, the idea of human beings traveling to a place disjointed from civilization intrigued audiences with its mystery, wonder, and impending danger. Starting with, arguably, the precursor that established this one moniker, the original King Kong from 1933, moviegoers had their fix with all of the possibilities stemming from primitive natives and dinosaurs, and for a while it became the standard in fantasy adventure onward. What is it about an island of monsters to really captivate all ages? And if there's something subjective about this book that makes it more than what its cover appears, I'll filter this topic out with only specifically the Godzilla films, and a few tangential subjects tied to the matter. I know there's a movie called Monster Island, that computer-animated film, and no thank you, I don't buy that. I will not track down a whole lot of media because I don't want to go crazy. So what's with G-fans' fascination with Monster Island, and what do I interpret from it? I believe because of our interest in dinosaurs since their first discovery in the early 1800s. Dinosaurs completely grabbed our imagination throughout, and so after King Kong took the entire world by storm, we naturally gravitated to the type of delightful, over-the-top adventurer we wanted so much. It elicits the possibilities of anything that can occur on an island besides dinosaurs. Then when the original Godzilla came out, it literally introduced the main template for a monster island, and arguably a stand-in to the fans, the natives, who believe in the legend of the deity clashing with modern sensibilities. Human natives shared the island with other kaiju and worshipped them as deities, providing interesting insights in their history within their vague but mystical lore. Skull Island was a fun, carefree experience, devoid of certain thematic complexity, but by the end of World War II, the Monster Island concept would take on prolific commentary on man's misguided handling to beneficial contribution with technology. Sea Monster and Son of Godzilla depicts humans settling on an uninhabited, so they thought, island where they conduct testings for dominance and willingness to play God, bringing to the mind to Yamane's warnings at the end of the original Gojira. Even Godzilla vs. Megalon straight up opens with atomic testings that devastates Monster Island, eerily echoing the atomic testings occurring in the islands of the South Pacific in real life. Then, in what it seems to be humanity getting a chance in redemption with their obsession with technology, Monsterland in Destroy All Monsters, situated on the Ogasawara Islands, is treated as a sanctuary for monitoring monsters' behavior as they remain living peacefully, and maybe even in a quarantine zone, in preventing them from spreading radioactive contamination on the mainland, allowing the humans to reduce destruction that the monsters caused in the past. But by the end of the film, when the Keylok aliens appear to wipe out their resources, they all realize that monsters aren't entirely dangerous without control, and the monsters learn simply through natural instinct to rather stay together in a union on the island. Another subjective quality is how Monster Island can show subtlety in promoting strength and courage too, as it blurs the lines of fantasy escape and reality, especially with children. When Japan reached the end of the 1960s, the nation went through an upheaval, with the bad side of rapid post-war recovery, such as environmental pollution, inflation, family struggle with rising costs of home living, and mothers being immersed into the work world. The Kagiko, meaning latchkey kid, became a troubled issue at the time because of parents struggling to make ends meet. Children would have to defend themselves at these tough times, but even need to find relief. Such as with Ichiro Miki, he would find refuge in his dreams of a more carefree time on Monster Island, away from bullies, isolation, and all-around loneliness. In his dreams, he frequently meets and befriends Godzilla's son Manila, and gradually grows feelings of courage and perseverance from a blatant clip show and help during Manila's confrontation with Gabra, before using it as a means to get through the tough times in reality in the end. Maybe for adults too, who embrace the feeling of being a child. Sometimes when you're an adult Godzilla fan, life can get comparatively hard, like holding a dead-end job, feeling outcasted, getting chewed out by snobby people who expect high-hope perfections. But within closed doors at home, you have it all to let loose, feel serenity, and embracing your fun, beastly side. Almost like your own, well, an island. As with kids, and even adults, we need certain work of fiction like this to occupy our time before the inevitable shift to the most unfair parts of reality. I remember in 2022, while retreating outside to cool down from the world around me at my job, all I can think about is walking across the washed beach shores, casually imagining life with Kaiju as my residence, away from the metaphorical mainland, and just having an adventure. Likewise, with the rest of fiction, many of us need such relief from reality. Well, I'm not going to go further with any heavier personnel details, but I'll say that in life, we need this certain escape. Considering our own tastes, people have Pandora, Middle-earth, and Gotham City, and yes, Monster Island, and so on. And afterwards, like a Chiro, we just accept reality, feeling straightened from the message of our icons to find comfort ground with our personal lives, or otherwise feeling strong and confident enough to escape and finding something meaningful. So when all said is done, Monster Island, in my opinion, is the most interesting aspect of the kaiju genre. It addresses human nature with technology and their tangential illusions with reality after the war. And when people say something as superheroes are inspiring and represent strength and courage too, you can find it with kaiju on an island as well, or otherwise fun, nostalgia excitement that's filled with inspiring imaginations, and definitely some thoughtful meaning that'll still make you feel like a kid. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any interesting angle on Monster Island that you find meaningful, leave a comment below. And also leave a suggestion on what kind of thesis you want me to cover one of these days. And, as always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to help support my channel, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell to be notified for later videos on the way. This has been Hinchusatsu, and I'll see you later.